Hey world. Cognitive dissonance. That push-pull dynamic that I'm always talking about. Push-pull dynamic, that's cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance in a push-pull dynamic, that's trauma bonding in action. That is literally the narcissist trying to traumatize you into bonding with them so you mirror their actions, do what they say, and behave the way they want you to. The problem with this is you can't function doing that. So, your personality splits. One wants to please the narcissist. The other is your morals, your ethics, your who you are, your personality, everything that is you. Everything. That puts you into a freeze mode. There's no fight, there's no flight. You're, I don't know what to do. This causes actual physical pain. Not to mention brain damage from the high cortisol levels flooding your brain system right now, destroying the actual thing in your brain that you need to make a decision. Seriously. So this cognitive dissonance, push-pull dynamic, where the narcissist flips whatever question you've asked and it turns into a raging argument, or he's raged at you, or she's raged at you because you haven't acted the way you want to. That's the trauma bonding in action. That is the process of traumatizing you. That is a narcissist grooming you, using your emotions, your depth, your personality, everything that they know about you, against you. Think about it. Your nervous system goes from your head to your toes, to your nose, to your fingertips, to every other part of your body. Every part. Every single part of the body. When you're in mode, what do you think is happening to your body? What do you think is happening to your brain? What do you think is happening to your skin? What do you think is happening to you as a whole? You're being traumatized. You're being groomed. You're being put down, manipulated. You're being abused. I've said this before, I'll say it again. You either have a supportive partner on one hand, or an unsupportive partner. There's no middle ground. Unsupportive, narcissist, only wants to be loved. Supportive, goes the extra mile to be there for you, to make sure you're okay, to care for you, put in a little effort, doesn't ask for anything in return. Supportive. Unsupportive, takes, bitches at you when you give them something. So where do you want to be in your life right now? To untraumatize yourself, it's hell. Because the fact is, this push-pull dynamic, this is what's been happening to you. Even if you're living in it right now, that is traumatization and grooming in action as it's happening. I wouldn't recommend calling it out. The rage will just increase. But let's think of it this way. This push-pull dynamic, this grooming through traumatization, or reverse it, either, it's put everything within you on alert, hyper vigilant. You are everywhere. So you're technically taking on a part, well, not technically, you are taking on a part of the narcissistic personality disorder yourself, just as a survival mechanism to stay alive in this relationship that you don't really understand what's happening, or who they are, or what they are, and why they're doing it. Because you can never get a straight answer. And if you do, it's a lie. This gives you CPTSD, PTSD, anything from a smell, a sound, an image, a lookalike, a shirt they once wore, will trigger this extreme shame within you that was put into you from that traumatizing grooming dynamic of back and forth in that relationship. This is serious. This is deadly serious. This kills you. This ages you. This rips you apart from the inside. This causes a cognitive split, like a bipolar split disorder. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the next acceleration or massive discovery in psychology's point of view. But PTSD, people that come from back from a war zone, to people that have been in a narcissistic personality disorder relationship, same symptoms, same reactions, same fiery explosion, just from the survivors. Now, the narcs put the triggers into you, or they've already figured out some of your triggers, and they'll push and poke and push and poke and push and poke. They mean nothing to other people, but they're the biggest thing that'll flip your lid in your life. That's what they do. It's a never-ending dynamic of torturing, grooming, and return, and repeat, and confuse, and repeat, and refuse, and deny, and abuse. It continues. It escalates. It doesn't slow. It doesn't stop. It escalates. Unless you start tasting bad and you can't mirror, then it continues. Key words right there. Don't mirror. And by now you should have learned how to answer them in a way to shut them down. For example, mine once said to me, "You look really good." First compliment I had in I don't know how long, to be honest. Sticks in my head, so very few and far between. But my response was, "Yeah, I know." That was it. Shut down. Didn't offer a compliment in return, nothing like that. This is self-preservation, self-protection. Because I know I look good. I don't need to be validated by you, the abusive person that I'm actually actively avoiding in this relationship, because I'm doing yoga every day, not seeking validation, not seeking conversation, not trying to make an effort anymore, because I've tried. 7, 8 years of trying. Some point, it's like, well, I've done everything I can think of. I've done all your suggestions. What have you done? You've done nothing. I actively tried. You actively avoided and failed. That's how I got out of my relationship. At some point, it's like, I'm done. Just done. And then you start building yourself up. The problem is, though, you have to break down your entire core. Everything of who you are, going back from triggers from like when a parent has shouted at you from when you were a child. Because those are the triggers that this narcissist triggers within you, because that's the last time you felt that threatened or that helpless because you were a child. So this push-pull, torturing, grooming tactic that they use to feed their ego, because that's the only way they can get. That's why they continue to do this. That's why they go after the very core of who you are. Like our core elements as a species: flight, fight, freeze. Well, when we're being screamed at by a parent, our main personal caregivers, then we freeze. You know, no, don't do that. Good boy, good girl, yes, do that. Praise. Non-praise. It shapes your morals. It shapes who you are. So when you've got this split cognitive dissonance in your brain, battling of who you are and who you were raised to who this person is trying to make you become, you are going out of your fucking mind. That is the grooming cognitive dissonance tactic that traumatizes you and forms that trauma bond to that narc. Never forget what they did. Always remember, keep diaries, keep everything you have as a reference, because if you ever decide to call them back, the cycle will continue or escalate. It will definitely change because you picked up on it this time, but it will escalate. Thanks for listening, and follow Narcissist Exposure 369 for more.